Today we're going to install WordPress. WordPress is a content management system. Has anybody done any looking at job advertisements and what people are hiring for in web design today? Do you see WordPress out there a lot? WordPress is overtaking Dreamweaver, and probably, I don't know if it's past or not, I haven't looked at the numbers, but there's a lot of good reasons to develop using WordPress instead of something like Dreamweaver. And still knowing your HTML, your CSS, your JavaScript, and your PHP skills are important in WordPress. Not quite as essential, but they'll help you do a better job if you know them. You'll still use the CSS and HTML that we've done so far quite a bit. JavaScript, and not so much. A lot of that's built in. If you want to customize it, you should learn PHP. Has anybody here ever worked with WordPress? Okay, about half of you. Easier, harder than Dreamweaver? You should have had about the same amount of experience in both if you did web fundamentals at this point. It's easier. How about the price tag? Has anybody looked at purchasing Dreamweaver? Can you purchase Dreamweaver? Or you sort of rent it now? You're paying on a month-to-month basis. And how much is it? How much?
$20.
If you're a student, how much is it for a business? It's like 50 or 59 if you get the whole suite. Now, if you think about that, it doesn't sound like a lot for one time, but paying for it year after year if you only have to make changes once in a while, and most people don't think to start it for a month, stop it for a month. Usually you have to sign up for a whole year. So let's see. Let's say it's $60 a month. How much is that for a whole year? $720 a year. How much is WordPress for a whole year? Zero. Zip. Nada. Now, one of the things that as a professional web designer / developer that you need to build into quoting for your clients is maintenance. Let's talk about what people used to do with graphic designers and what they do now. Used to be, and my mom had her own business for years. Sometimes I talk her into coming in here and talking about the challenges of working with actual clients. And my mom did newsletters. The great thing about a newsletter is once it goes to print, it's done, right? You mail it, you don't ever see that project again. Is a website ever done? No, because it's really a living, breathing document. And many people anticipate, well, you created it, you better maintain it. Okay, so you need to bill for it. How do you bill for that? Let's say you're charging $40 an hour. Typically, you'd bill in 15-minute increments. So if you only have to make a few changes, you'd bill them for $10. If you spend an hour on it, you bill them for $40. But you need to have some sort of maintenance agreement signed and in place, whether they pay you monthly, yearly, or each time you make a change. You have to assume that if you make a website for somebody, someday they're going to want you to go back and make changes to it. And most of them are not going to want to buy Dreamweaver or learn HTML to go into the code and modify it, correct? So WordPress is becoming more popular because if you set up all the styling, going into WordPress is as simple as going into an existing page, clicking edit, typing a little bit, and hitting publish. Most people can maintain WordPress sites that have been set up for them themselves. So if you're doing a site, let's say we were doing something for MCC and we were changing our cafeteria menu every day. The skills that it takes to update that menu daily are about the same skills that it takes to work in Word. Most people can go and click edit, type a bit, and hit save. It makes it very easy and it doesn't mess with any of the formatting. So content management systems, WordPress is sort of that. It's sort of a hybrid version of it because it was originally designed as a blogging system, but it has had a lot of functionality added to it. And now many corporate sites are actually created using content management systems like WordPress. Personally, I prefer Drupal, but that's because Drupal is really for people who like to get in and hand code and do things like that. It's sort of like the comparison between an iPhone and an Android. How many of you have iPhones? How many of you have Androids? About a 50-50 split. Probably not quite the same split as WordPress versus Drupal. And there's a lot more other ones out there. WordPress is the sort of iPhone. It's fairly simple to use. I'm not going to take the analogy any further than that. Drupal is very customizable. You can customize WordPress too. But that's sort of the back and forth debate on the two. So we're going to go into installing WordPress, and you're going to see it's incredibly easy. And hopefully I've chatted long enough that everybody has turned on their computer and gone into cPanel. And I really like InMotion hosting, but most places that use cPanel in the hosting have made it very, very easy for you to add. And you'll notice that we have top applications here. We have Moodle, we have Coppermine, we have Gallery, we have MediaWiki, PHP List, Drupal, Joomla, WordPress. And these are the three most common content management systems. And of them, WordPress is the most popular. Please click on WordPress. This is very, very easy, should it work right. Sometimes I've had it blow up on me, but typically you just need to click Install, choose your domain, and your directory. And so you're going to just create a directory called WordPress. Mine might already exist, so I'm going to call mine WordPress 2. It should be something that does not exist. And then type a database name. Mine is coming as WordPress 798. That's fine for me. There are some basic database settings. Table prefix, WP underscore, leave it alone. Site name. For right now, I'm just going to name it Meri's WordPress. You can come back and change this later. You do not need to enable multi-site options. You do need to put in a username. Mine will be Meri. And for right now, I'm going to put mine in as password because it's visible to everybody, and I will go in and change it later. And my email I will put in so it sends it to me. And I'm going to leave mine as English. I'm not going to limit login attempts. I'm just going to email the installation details to myself. So let me review those settings here because I went kind of fast. Protocol, leave it be. Don't change it. Just leave it as HTTP. Domain should be yours, meri.mccdgm.net. Directory, yours will probably be WordPress. I've done this recently in another class. It's not supposed to be a directory that exists. So I made mine WordPress 2. Database name, the default is fine. Your database settings, the default is fine. The site name, just put your first name up there and WordPress. Site description, you can leave it alone. Admin username. I'm using the same one that I used to log in here. I haven't set mine as password because this will be published on the internet and I don't need anybody hacking me. I will change that very soon. Or I'll delete it. I haven't decided yet. And then when you're done, you should email the installation details to yourself, and then you should click Install. Okay, it didn't like that. We'll lead it out. PASSW0RD exclamation point. And we get to watch. This says that it can take 3 to 4 minutes. Usually we're doing pretty good. We're all using this at the same time. But usually this will work pretty smoothly. Please click on your WordPress link, and you should see this.